Hi guys, no, I did not change my name. This is just a new series on my channel called Cuisine. And in this series, I'm going to be making cooking videos. My first vegan fall recipe or cooking video is going to be about my pumpkin soup. I love pumpkin recipes because they really get me into the fall mood. Moreover, Halloween is coming, so I like to go to local farms and pick out a few pumpkins. Here you can see me try to pick up this huge pumpkin, but it was too heavy, so I went for a smaller one. The farmers really trust everyone here because you have to go and pay yourself, which is what I'm doing right now. And now we're at home and I'm going to show you how I make my vegan pumpkin soup, which is vegetarian friendly, and even if you're not vegan or vegetarian, you can still eat it, or you can just use your regular products. Alright, for my favorite fall 2021 vegan pumpkin recipe, you need a pumpkin and 2 little ones to make bowls. Oh, and this is gonna be enough for, I would say, 4 people, and I made half of it, which was more than enough for 2 people. Okay, so you're gonna need 2 times cream, coconut milk, olive oil, 2 potatoes, 3 carrots, and an onion. You don't really need the cream, but I love this creamy pumpkin soup, so that's why I'm adding the vegan cream. And now to the spices, you can add whatever spices that you like. This is just what I recommend. I'm gonna use oregano, paprika powder, basil, salt, yellow curry powder, and garlic. First, you're gonna put the pumpkin in the oven. Leave it there for about 15 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius or 356 degrees Fahrenheit. While the pumpkin is in the oven to become softer, which makes it easier to hollow it out later, we're gonna cut the veggies, and I'm gonna start with the onion. It really doesn't matter how small you cut them because you're gonna blend everything up later. And here you can see my indecisiveness, not knowing where to cut, but it doesn't matter. And while I'm cutting the onion, I would like to ask you if you have any Halloween pumpkin craving ideas, because I usually go for a cat, but maybe you have a better idea, so let me know in the comments. I like to have a little bowl next to me where I can put all the trash, and at the end I can just throw it all away. And one thing I'd like to mention about the pumpkin that's currently in the oven is that if you really need the whole pumpkin, which I didn't, leave it in the oven for longer than 15 minutes because it's gonna make it softer and easier to work with. Alright, we're done with the onions, and now I'm going to peel the carrots. Okay, this is really random, but I hope you can hear the fireplace in the background. I love it. That's just another thing that really puts me in the fall and autumn mood. And fall is probably my favorite season next to winter. I just love Halloween. And one of the best things in this season is probably the food and the Halloween treats. So let me know in the comment section if you want more ideas for DIY and easy Halloween treats. Now that I'm done peeling the carrots, I'm gonna go ahead and peel the potatoes. And since we were talking about getting into the fall mood, I want to share another thing that really sets the mood for me. You can see what I'm talking about burning in the background. I'm talking about candles, and the red one is actually from IKEA. Now that I'm done with the peeling, I'm going to cut the veggies up into little pieces so I can boil them later. While I was filming this part, I actually got an Amazon delivery and it turns out it's part of my Halloween costume. I already gave you guys a hint on what I'm gonna be for Halloween on Instagram, which is at holly.cerise. I took the pumpkin out of the oven and now I'm adding 1 tablespoon of olive oil into my pot, and now I'm adding the onions and then I'm going to saute them. It's really important to add about a pinch of salt before you're going to saute them, okay? The spices that I showed you in the beginning of the video, I'm going to add when we're cooking the veggies. But I prepared them in this little glass bowl, and what you're gonna do is use a little more than a teaspoon of each of them. Okay, as I just said, we're going to saute the onions. This is a step that I forgot to mention, but you're gonna add about 1 liter of veggie stock. And before you're saying, wait, she's not using the amounts that she's saying we should use, it's because I'm telling you what to use for like 4 to 5 people, and I just took all my ingredients and only used half of them. So for clarification, I'm gonna put a list of all the ingredients in the description box. Okay, I added all the veggies and the spices, and now I'm just letting it cook a bit, and I'm also adding the garlic. I'm just gonna let it cook while I'm hollowing out the pumpkin, which is gonna be like 10 minutes. So here's the pumpkin, and I'm gonna cut where I'm showing in the video. And you want to keep the top part because this is gonna be our soup bowl, which is gonna be on the table. You know what I mean? You can keep the seeds and roast them or something, but I'm not gonna show you how to do this in this video. Again, keep the top part, and this is just the amount of pumpkin that I hollowed out, but I made sure that the pumpkin itself is still, you know, stable so that I can use it as a soup bowl. And now I'm adding the cream. And now it's time to add the coconut milk. Now I'm mixing everything up while it's cooking for another 15 minutes. Just a little side note, the pumpkin that you're using, as long as it's edible, doesn't really matter which one you're using, but it's going to make the color of your soup. And the one that I used was very yellow, but you can also add some sort of coloring like paprika powder if you want it to be more orange. Now it's time to blend everything up, but you can also puree it, whatever you prefer. And depending on which blender you're using, you want to make sure that it's safe for boiling hot temperatures. Otherwise, you can just let your soup cool down and heat it up again afterwards. This step is optional, but I bought 2 little pumpkins that were also in the oven for a short amount of time to use as little soup bowls. You want to cut them like you cut the big pumpkin and also hollow them out, as well as cutting off a little bit of the bottom part to make sure that it don't fall over. And this is our big soup bowl that I'm gonna fill with the soup. Alright, we're all done with the recipe. I'm gonna put the top part on the pumpkin to make sure the soup stays warm. And when my guests arrive, I can serve them the soup in the little pumpkins. This is one of my favorite vegan fall recipes, and again, if you're not vegan, you can just use your regular products or just try the vegan version. It's really good, I promise. If you have an idea on how I can make this recipe even better, please let me know in the comments. What is an autumn dinner recipe without a tasty fall dessert? What I'm having for dessert is this, again, vegan apple pie, and it's completely homemade, of course. No, but jokes aside, fall is apple season, so I already have a next recipe in mind that I want to show you guys, which is gonna be vegan apple rings. Thank you so much for your support. Please subscribe and check out my social media accounts.